So basically, this show is basically going to be about like my life, kind of like a mini introduction because I kind of just I want to just get right to the tea. You know what I'm saying? I want to get a scoop in the tea like right away. And then, my mic is on. Oh, snap. Can y'all hear this? Yo, turn me up. Hey, turn me up. Yeah. What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Bevy Jae, and welcome to Bevy Jae Off Mute. Ooh. Hey, hold on. Hey. OMG. Your girl is back, and it feels so good. Y'all, today is November 11th, and it's 11 o'clock. Somewhere at least where I'm at, it's 11 o'clock. Listen, welcome to Bevy Jae Off Mute. I think I already said that. Like, y'all, I feel a little nervous because I'm about to spill like some major tea. Like, can y'all just hang with me real quick? All right. So listen, I believe in the principle of transparency will set you free, right? So last year, y'all, I went viral. I'm just jumping right into it. Like, because most of y'all already know who I am, and I'll get into all of the deets later. But last year, I went viral a few times, right? All because of me being transparent and my journey and what I've been through. And one of the videos that went viral was of me sharing that I was married 3 times. Oh my God! You think about this little bitty black plus size girl from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, been married 3 times, uno, dos, tres. And a lot of people had something to say about that, like real bad. Like, what? You been married 3 times? Not to mention, y'all, I was actually on the Kendra G single show.
Divorce.
Oh, you was married. I missed that whole thing. How long were you married for?
3 years on paper.
Okay.
I got another life. I've been married 3 times. Let me put that out there.
You've been married 3 times?
Yes.
Okay, can you break down each marriage?
Do your research, go look that up, because that was a whole vibe and a whole experience. I might actually come back because your girl is single and I still ain't met nobody, but that's another story. So after me going viral, right? First of all, big entrepreneur, just mistake, fumbled the bag, everything. Because y'all, I had no website. I had no downloadables. I had no classes, no coaching. I had none of that in place. Because as the women that God sent to me, because I promise you, he sent me over 100K people. Like, they flocked to me. And I'm still answering messages today because it was just overwhelming. And I learned quickly the art of social media, right? Because it is a fake reality. So half of those comments were so nasty and so mean, where the others were very positive and uplifting. So what I did was I just ignored them all. I'm gonna be honest. So sorry. But the ones that messaged me personally are the ones that I'm still responding to rather. So the point that I'm getting at is I was like, God, I need more money. He's like, tell your story. And that was the first time and the first reality where I finally connected all of the dots of who I am. Because I had my story. You want me to tell my story? What is so interesting about Bevy Jae that the world needs to know? Well, believe it or not, my story is very important, just like your story is important, right? So I was just like, I started just thinking about my life, everything that I've been through. And I'm like, my heart is so pure. Pure. What's pure? Pure. It's pure. So I was like, okay, my story, right? I'm going to tell y'all my story just a little bit. I'm a miracle baby, First of all, shout out to my mom and my dad who is no longer with us. But the fact that God saw it fit for me to be here after man told my mom and my dad that he would never be able to have kids. But I already had an older brother and a sister. Y'all didn't know I had siblings, right? So fast forwarding to me being here. I was already destined to be here because man already said that I was not supposed to be here. But God saw fit. She was going to be here. And my name was actually supposed to be Miracle. And I'm thinking like, that he named me after his favorite sister, Beverly, hence Bevy. And a lot of people might wonder where the J comes from. Well, since my dad named me Beverly, I'm like, Bevy is cooler. I mean, now that I'm older, I'm like, Beverly is actually kind of fly, but I digress. So I'm like, Bevy came from my father. I need a piece of my mother, which makes so much sense now. My mother's middle name is Jean. So I was like, okay, because funny story, I used to go by Tony J. Fox. That was like my makeup artist name and my stylist name. She's definitely going to make a appearance in 2024, y'all. Listen, all of these hats got different names because all of these skills serve a purpose. But let me get back on topic. So I was like, okay, my mom's middle name is Jean. It's J-E. How do you spell Jean, y'all? J-A-E-N. I'm like, no, that's not. Hold on. So Jean is Jean. Don't judge me. So so I was like, okay, Jean, let me take the A and the E and flip flop that, and let me just become Bevy Jae. So funny story, Bevy Jae was actually birthed out of pain during my second marriage. Y'all, I done went through all of these different names, right? I went by Bev Cole. That was before J. Cole. Trust me, I got receipts. I'm being funny. I went by Pepsi. I went by Mio. I went by Nicole Beverly. Like I had all of these aliases because I didn't know who I was. And fast forwarding back to God telling me to tell my story. The fact that I was a miracle baby, right? I went through molestation. I went through rape. I went through bullying in school. I went through an unstable household because after my father passed away, my mother got on drugs, and the rest is history. So you talking about dealing with going from crack house to crack house. You're talking about seeing my mother having different men in and out the house. And not necessarily sexually, I don't know, but I just know that she was getting high, right? So I grew up resenting my mother. I grew up hating her because there was a time when my mother tried to sell me for drugs. What mother in their right mind would do that to somebody, right? So fast forwarding into my life as I went through high school, and I got a late start in life just as far as dating, especially after that rape, y'all. Like I was like, I'm good. And the first relationship that I got in after that rape was an abusive relationship. And then after that, I was with a habitual cheater and a liar. Like what? And then after that, I was married. So out of my whole dating life, like I've really only had 2 damaging, toxic relationships, which made me fall for another toxic marriage. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. So it was something that I had to figure out. Like the biggest thing that a lot of us need to do is reevaluate ourselves and be aware of self-awareness. Because I got asked often, like, how did you overcome? Because I overcame. I didn't cope. I overcame. How did you overcome? You got to be real with yourself. If you can't be real with yourself where you're at, like what are you doing? And that was one of those harsh realities that I had to go through because, again, I don't have the perfect story. I'm going to make a quote and a reference from Pinky Cole, y'all. If y'all don't know, y'all going to hear me talk about Pinky a whole lot because I'm going to still shoot my shot. I'm shooting my shot right now, Pinky. I'm going to work for you. I don't know when, where, how. Listen, I don't care as long as I get there. I'm going to be on your team. This is going to be a test. Matter of fact, this is a time stamp. But in her book, I Hope You Fail, she mentioned about growing up with a plastic spoon in your mouth. Oh, child, baby, a plastic spoon. Like, I hollered because I was like, exactly. I didn't have a silver spoon. I had a plastic spoon. And I had to keep reusing it and reusing it and reusing it. So you think about all of that compound trauma that I went through. It messed with my self-esteem. It messed with every bit of your womanhood. Who am I? I didn't have a mother to pour into me when I was younger. I didn't have that. My father died when I was 5. You know what I'm saying? My siblings went off to go move with my grandmother in another state. Here I have is my cracked out mama and myself. I got a huge late start on life. Like a very late start. So when I was telling God, okay, I need more money. And again, what I just told you guys, I had to reflect on my life. I'm like, I beat the statistics. You know, yeah, I'm late with a lot of things because I didn't have the knowledge. Y'all, like Funny Marco says, I'm going to be on his show too. It's a mindset thing. If that ain't the truth, I don't know what is. And once you master that, the rest is history, y'all. The rest is history. So when he told me to tell my story, I'm like, do I have a story? Of course I have a story. I was introduced to knowing I had a story, and he reminded me when I attended Les Brown's Power Voice class over the pandemic. And that's how Elevate Her Media was born and how Elevate Her was born in the pandemic, right? I birthed that. But my babies, they were put up for adoption. They were in a group home because more life had to happen to me. Let me know if you feel me when you give birth to something, but your dreams, you give birth to your dreams, but your dreams is over in a group home. Do you see what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? All of that happened, and I'm just like, I was in the worst, not only shape, mentally, spiritually, I was just gone because I was in a toxic marriage, right? Again, tell your story. Tell my story. So here I am in Les Brown's course, taking this power voice, the godfather of motivation, right? Him telling me, your story is powerful. They need to hear that. I'm just like, but I was with somebody who would build me up and tear me down. So that snatched away my confidence. That snatched away any and every belief that I've had of myself. So that's why all of my dreams, not just Elevate Her and Elevate Her Media, but all of my dreams were in a group home. And if I didn't go get them, they were going to be adopted to somebody else that you think God was the only one that gave me this idea. No, it is over 7 billion people in this world. We're all going to have similar ideas and things. But that vision he gave me was mine. But I didn't act on it. I wasn't obedient because I was in my head. Because who am I? Right? So going back to when I said in 2017, Bevy Jae was born. Bevy Jae was birthed out of pain from this marriage, y'all. Told y'all I've been married 3 times. 3 times I've been married. Yes. Right? But let me talk about this second one real quick. Because that was the one I found my identity and I realized what my purpose was. Right? So going back to, okay, y'all, I married this man in 3 weeks. Child, yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I'm very hopeless romantic. I'm not gonna lie. Would I do it all over again? Probably, but in under different circumstances. Because for one, this man was not a man of God. Like, no. I know several couples till to this day that got married within 3 weeks, a month, 2 months of knowing each other. And they've been married for 10 years, 15 years, one even 20. So I get it. That type of love exists, but it only exists in the kingdom. I'm just putting it out there in my eyes. That's my opinion. Don't come for me. So yeah, I got married in 3 weeks. I had been single for 4.5 years prior to my first marriage. Y'all remember me telling you I was almost 500 pounds in my first marriage and I lost all of the weight. Well, some of it, because baby, listen, that's a whole nother topic. And in the midst of that, I didn't love myself in my first marriage, right? So I lost the weight. I went on this self-development journey, right? Self-discovery. And so when I met him, I'm like, yo, I've been single for 4 years. Almost 2 of those years I was celibate. Yeah. I was just like, I'm ready. He was a little older. He was very charming. He was African. It was different. It was how can I say this? This was more so of a familiar spirit because I've dated African men before. And I used to love, oh, please don't, sir, don't, y'all stay right over there. Cause that's what y'all did on Kendra G. As soon as I mentioned that I was with an African, y'all just stay over there. But, so I'm just like, what is going on? Like, this man is different. I prayed briefly, like real briefly, but I didn't listen. I did it at my own accord. I had the whole mindset of it's better to marry than burn. I was ready for a family. I was like, oh, we gonna have a house in Africa, and like man, come on, I ain't even gotta go out. Let me go there. Let me free somebody right now. I'm thinking about the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, the could have beens. I was married to the could have beens, and I'll say about 3 months into our marriage, that's when I found out this Negro had only married me for his citizenship. You might be like, well, how did that actually happen? Y'all, quick story, real quick. Stay with me. I hope y'all with me. Before I go on, let me give a huge shout out to the Culture Lab here in Atlanta, Georgia. If y'all are looking for a podcast, if you are looking to put on a podcast, you want to learn how to do a podcast, listen, we got something major coming January 13th, 2024. But you got to wait till Monday to get all of the details. So yes, come back on Monday. Make sure you follow the Culture Lab. Make sure you're following me. I am Bevy Jae on all social media platforms. Listen, you don't want to miss this. Okay. So I just lost my train of thought. But going back to how I found out how this man bamboozled me. Like I was betrayed, like betrayal, like 10x. Never experienced that in my life, right? It was like I married the devil. And I married him 3 times. But listen, so going back to where I worked at, I was a store manager at a popular clothing store. Shout out to Ashley Stewart. And one of my customers, she was like, so you're my wife. You're my sister. Like, how was the experience in Africa? I was like, I didn't go to Africa. She's like, you didn't go to Africa? No, I didn't go to Africa. She was like, well, why not? She was like, you must have had a ceremony over there. I'm like, no. She's like, well, then you had one here. How was it? It's like, we went to the courthouse. She was, no. You know, I was like, what's going on? So then she asked me his last name, asked me his tribe. And I told her. She was like, started asking me like all of these questions. She's like, you must have talked to his mom. No. Like, she was like, She was like, no, come talk to my husband now. So she pulled me outside. I talked to her husband. I was like telling him like everything. And he was just like, my sister, He's like, I'm so sorry, but run. Y'all, when I tell you I got so hot, I'm like, I'm choking. I'm instantly thinking I'm about to die. Like, run. Like, what do you mean? Like, this is my husband. What do you mean, run? So then he told me to do two things. One of the other things I'm not going to mention because, yeah, girlies, y'all hit me up and I'll tell you. But one of the main things was me to ask him about his family. And again, I'm not thinking because he's from Africa. What, like, all of his people is back in Africa. Like, it's a time zone. I was so understanding. Like, oh my gosh, I understand. It's okay. I wasn't thinking about that because, again, marriage is between God, my husband, then me, and anybody else. I ain't even tell my family, y'all. I ain't tell my family for the second one or the third one, but that's another story. I'm going to get to that. So, in the midst of me going back home to deliver this message, one of them was, ask him about his family and why have you yet to meet them or hear from them? And he said, if he reacts in this manner, run. I was like, okay. So I got home. Hey, babe, nothing usual. It was like, hi, da-da-da-da-da. Mind you, the communication had been a little off lately, but you know, it is what it is, right? So I'm just like, so when am I going to meet your mom? What is wrong with you? What has gotten into you? I'm like, huh? What do you mean? I said what I said. When am I going to meet your mom? Like, and you said your brother and your sisters. What has gotten into you? Why are you asking me all of these questions? He was so offended. And my customer's husband told me he was going to act like this. And he said, do one other thing. And I did it. Baby, when I tell you the way that God showed up and showed out, but again, that was a decision that I made. Do I get the Dummy of the Year award? Yes. But if I had not made that stupid mistake that I learned from, I would not be King Bevy Jae. Because y'all, I was so devastated. I felt this little. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like my womanhood, like, was I desperate? Was I really that desperate that I married a man? But then again, God does what he does. Because I don't know about you, but I'm gonna talk about me. Let me free somebody. You the one that always go run to God every time only something bad happens. But instead of you rejoicing through the good, through the bad, you know what I'm saying? The happier side, happy or sad, right? Because praise is what I do. Shout out to my bishop. Hey, bishop. Yeah, just got to give my man of God, my spiritual parents, and, you know, my lovely mother. Hey, girl. I hope y'all be listening. Pastor Danielle Murphy in the building. Yeah, I'm shouting you out too, boo. I love y'all. But I'm going to tell y'all about that testimony too. Y'all got to stay with me. It's about to get real interesting because I'm coming off mute. I got something to say. I've been silent way too long. So if it had not been for that pain that I went through, I would not have been able to be right here in front of you and birth Bevy Jae, right? Each marriage that I went through, y'all, I learned like a new level. It was like a new level unlocked, a new level loaded. I'm just like, oh my gosh. But I'm going to put a pin in that. I'm going to talk more about that marriage because that pain birthed my identity. And a lot of you are in pain. You have yet to start your healing process, or should I say your fake healing process? Like you're faked healed. And what does that mean? What do you mean, Bevy Jae? What do you mean you're faked healed? You're only healed on social media. But behind closed doors, boo, you suffering real bad. Like real bad. And that's not cool. Like, that's why, again, I started my sister circle, which is a part of Elevate Her, which is for women to come and begin to vent and heal and hear everybody else's story. You get to hear my story. I share even more deeper details as far as like what I've been through to free you. But then we also talk about God, Because if it had not been for God who was by my side and on my side, y'all probably wouldn't be watching me right now. And that's just me being honest, and that's just me being real. So I'm gonna put a pin in that right there, right? Because I want to dive deeper into pain and your purpose. Y'all, my life. Just think about what you've been through in your life, right? Think about everything that has happened to you, good and bad, and even ugly. Y'all, I could even admit, and then I'm gonna let y'all go. I can even admit to, oh Lord, I can't even think of her name. I know her last name is Jackson. Is it Derek Jackson's wife? When she said that she started mimicking those women, a lot of people like went in on her. Like the tongue is worse than a gun. Like they went in on her, and a lot of them are Christian women, right? If you're a believer, I can understand you gonna be ignorant. I get that, But a lot of these women were Christian women. I'm here to say, in this last marriage, y'all, I did that. Because you were with somebody who's never satisfied. Why the hell you marry me? Like, you married me this way. I definitely elevated in the marriage. I lost weight. I done went vegan. I done did this. I done did, like, what do you want from me? You shouldn't be saying those things to a true man of God. I know people are different. People fight their demons. People are not perfect. I'm not making excuses for anybody, but I'm making excuses for water when I know I carry oil. I am wanting to be like water when I am oil. Baby, I was the Little Mermaid wanting legs when I needed to be in the water. But let's turn it around and say when I needed to be in oil. Like, I'm going to get real deep, and tell y'all what I've been through. But also, I want to know what you've been through. If you want to come off mute and you're here in the Atlanta, Georgia area, I am working on some streaming gear to where I could actually just bring you on as is. But if you're ready to come off mute because you got a story to tell, come on, let's go. Let's run with it. Listen, y'all. All of this would not have been possible if it was not for God, y'all. God is so amazing. He is so real. Like, for real, I'm never not gonna not give him the praise because he brought me through it. Okay? Like, y'all thinking that was something? Oh, baby, listen, my life is truly a living testimony. Like my bishop said, God is gonna give you double for your trouble and triple for your trauma. And baby, I'm claiming the double and the triple because, honey, this compound trauma that I was going through, child, let me tell you. So listen, next week, you know what I'm saying? Next week, Wednesday, I will be back in this thing. So that will be the regular days, will be every Wednesday. You can hear me at 10 o'clock. Tune in to Bevy Jae Off Mute. It's about to be crazy, y'all. Like, I'm super excited. I just can't wait to show you what God is doing in my life. Like, I am literally the queen of transparency. Like, transparency is what freed me. And I just want you to get used to not only hearing my story, but get the confidence to tell your story. Tell your story. Even if it's just one person, that's all that matters. Listen, you done did somebody, you done did the do. You done changed somebody's life. You done freed somebody. And because you freed them, they gonna free themselves. You know what I'm saying? They gonna free somebody else. And it's just gonna be a chain effect. So what you think is one, it's actually gonna be multiple people. Hopefully hundreds, hopefully thousands, right? So I want to read something because, again, I'm gonna always put a spiritual pin in this because this is definitely all about God and giving God his flowers. I'm always testify. Sometimes our testimonies are really tests too, to see if we will tell our testimony. Think about that testimony. It has a test. in there? Are you being tested to tell your testimony? But you scared. You're still on mute. Baby, it's time to come off mute. But let me read this. Don't be pulled in different directions or worried about a thing. Be saturated in prayer throughout each day, offering your faith-filled requests before God. Get it together. Hold on, let me reread this. Hold on. Don't be pulled in different directions or worried about a thing. Be saturated in prayer throughout each day, offering your faith-filled requests before God with overflowing gratitude. Tell him every day. Tell him every day. When you pray, tell him every detail of your life. Then God's wonderful peace that transcends human understandings will guard your heart and mind through Jesus Christ. Y'all, that's my time. I am Bevy Jae, and I just came off mute. Y'all join me next week, Wednesday. I'll see you then. Love y'all.